Welcome to the last calm word. Let's get started with today's story. I was not supposed to be home that early. The meeting ended ahead of schedule, and I skipped the usual stop for drinks. If I had walked in at the normal hour, Lindsay would have already been gone. Our marriage had been running on fumes for a while. We did not fight much, but that was part of the problem. We moved through the same house like roommates who only exchanged nods. Her career had swallowed most of her time, and I had stopped asking where the late nights were going. Maybe I already knew. The moment I opened the door, I knew something was wrong. The house smelled like lavender, thick and artificial. A diffuser hummed on the console table. Upstairs, the shower ran steady, deliberate. She was not bathing to relax. She was getting ready to walk out. Outside the bathroom, I stood. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A new voice memo from her. I hit play. Her voice was calm, rehearsed. "Tom, I need you to listen. Do not ask questions. Tonight I need one night with another man. Just one. Please do not interfere." I stood there, memo still playing in my hand, water hammering the tile on the other side of the door. She thought she had planned this out perfectly. Set the stage, leave the note, disappear for the night. By the time I came home, she would already be gone. But I was early, and that changed everything. I did not knock. I did not argue through the door. I did not even raise my voice. Instead, I walked back down the stairs into my study. If Lindsay wanted one night of freedom, I was about to give her something else. Something she would never forget. I opened the bottom drawer and pulled out two thick envelopes. I had kept them for contract severance offers, situations where the decision needed to be sharp and final. Tonight, they do the same job. On the first, I wrote exit in bold letters. Inside, I placed $500 in cash, a hotel key card from an old business trip, and a draft divorce petition I had prepared months ago when her excuses first stopped adding up. On the second, I wrote truth. Inside, I slid a flash drive. On it, a report I had been compiling for weeks. Receipts, hotel bills, screenshots of messages, photographs from the rooftop bar where she thought I was not watching. I had titled the folder Human Resources Employee Conduct, alongside it a single note: "Pick this and you will see what I have already done." I set both envelopes on the console table at the bottom of the stairs side by side like doors waiting to be opened. The shower upstairs stopped after 10 minutes. I waited in the dark, leaning against the wall. Minutes later, I heard the bathroom door crack open, then her steps on the stairs. Lindsay came down slowly, damp hair against her shoulders, a towel knotted tight. Her eyes landed on the envelopes. She frowned. "Tom, what is this?" "Two choices," I said evenly. "Left or right? You decide." She picked up the exit first, slid out the contents, and froze. Cash, hotel card, divorce petition. Her lips tightened, but she said nothing. She set it back down and reached for truth. When she pulled out the flash drive, her face shifted. "What is on here?" I met her eyes. Everything: the dinners, the hotel, the lies, and human resources already has a copy. The color drained from her face. "You did not. I did not move. You wanted one night. I gave you exposure for every night." Her hand trembled, but she clutched the flash drive like it might save her. The script she had planned had just been torn in half. I led her into the study. She moved stiffly, clutching the towel with one hand, the flash drive with the other. I sat at the desk, opened my laptop, and plugged in a second identical drive, the original. On the screen, folder after folder appeared. Receipts, photographs, text logs, and credit card statements. Each one neatly labeled with dates. "Sit," I said. She did not. She hovered near the door. "Tom, this is insane." I cut her off with a click. A photo filled the screen. Lindsay at the rooftop bar, leaning in toward Daniel Pierce, her hand resting on his wrist. Daniel was not a stranger. He was her colleague, the rising star in her division. Charismatic single, always first to volunteer for late-night client dinners, the kind of man who thrived on attention. Another click, another photo. The two of them outside a hotel, his jacket draped over her shoulders like some rehearsed gesture. Another click. An itemized receipt. One room. One night. Two guests. Her face paled. "That is not. Do not," I said quietly. "Do not insult me. You asked for one night. You've already had more than one." She swallowed hard. It was not like that. I clicked again. A message thread filled the screen. Her words in neat bubbles. "Last night was what I needed." His reply: "Next time, my place." Fewer eyes. Her hand covered her mouth. She whispered, "Tom, please." I leaned back in the chair, calm, deliberate. I watched you laugh at his jokes, touch his wrist like it meant something, book hotels under company accounts. You did not make a mistake. You built a second life. Tears welled, but she forced a smile. "We can fix this. I will stop seeing him." It did not mean stop. I said, "It is done. You do not get to negotiate after the fact." She finally sank into the chair across from me, trembling. "What are you going to do?" I turned the screen toward her. The human resources email sat open, drafted, and addressed. All it needed was a click. "I already did it," I said flatly. "They have everything. By morning, Daniel and Human Resources will both know who you have really been. Her voice cracked. You destroyed me. I shook my head. No, you destroyed yourself. I just wrote it down. The fear in her eyes told me she finally understood. This was not her script anymore. Her hands gripped the arms of the chair like she could anchor herself there. Tom, listen to me. You do not have to do this. We can handle it privately, just us. No one else has to know. I turned the laptop back toward me. My cursor hovered over the draft email. The attachments were already there. Portable document format bundles of receipts, message transcripts, and photos. Subject line: employee conduct disclosure. Lindsay Carter. Privately, I said, voice steady. You mean the way you handled it? The way you slipped out of this house while I paid the bills and cooked dinner, convinced I was imagining the silence. Please, she whispered. If you send that my job, everything I have built. I pressed enter. The screen blinked. Message sent. She lunged across the desk. Tom, no. I did not flinch. I closed the laptop slowly. You wanted freedom. You got fallout. Her voice cracked. Desperate now. You have ruined me. I leaned forward, my tone level but sharper. No, Lindsay. I ruined the story you were trying to sell. The one where you slip out, get your night, and come back with a speech rehearsed in the mirror. I just ended the performance before it opened. She slumped back, face pale. For the first time in years, she did not look like Lindsay Carter, polished and in control. She looked like someone stripped of her script. Tom, she tried again, softer. I can change. I will do anything. You already saw the draft, I said, pulling a thin folder from the drawer. This one is signed. I slid it across the desk. You do not get another chance. My voice was flat. You get a lawyer. Her hand trembled on the cover. You are really ending it. It ended the moment you decided one night meant more than our life. The silence that followed was heavier than any argument we had ever had. For the first time, Lindsay realized she was not in control, and that was the real punishment. She sat, frozen eyes locked on the divorce petition, like the words themselves might swallow her whole. Tom, you do not have to file this. We can talk to someone. Work through it, please. I stood slow and deliberate and walked toward the cabinet. Inside, a locked box waited. I set it on the desk, clicked it open, and pulled out 3 black ledgers. What are those? She asked, her voice shaking. My record, I said. Every time you lied. Every late meeting. Every missing charge on the card. Every birthday you skipped. Every time you went silent when I asked a simple question. She flinched, like the covers might burn her. I do not need to read them. I know what I did. I shook my head. No, you do not. You thought you were clever. You thought I would never notice. Or worse, that I would notice and still stay quiet. This is not for me anymore. It is for you. A syllabus of what you destroyed. Her eyes welled, but I did not stop. I pulled a smaller box from the drawer and set it down. Inside was a custom wedding band I had commissioned for our anniversary, a gift I never gave. Her lips parted. You had that made? Yes. And then I sat at a restaurant table by myself that night. Tears spilled, now unchecked. Tom, I was lost. I did not mean. Do not. I cut in. You meant every second, every kiss, every lie, every night. You thought I was not watching. Do not pretend you stumbled into this. She clutched the towel tighter, her voice breaking. So what now? I leaned on the desk steady. Now you get to live with the cost. Human Resources has the files. The divorce is signed. Your family will know. Daniel will deny you the moment it threatens his career, and you will finally stand alone the way you rehearsed. Her breath caught. You are leaving me with nothing. I met her eyes. Calm. No, Lindsay. I am leaving you with exactly what you chose. She buried her face in her hands. For the first time, she did not argue. By the time we stood in court, Lindsay had shed the hoodie and put her armor back on. Hair tied neatly, dark suit, face powdered pale. She was trying to reclaim the image. Lindsay Carter, professional, controlled, but her eyes betrayed her. They darted too much, searching for a foothold that was not there. My lawyer placed the flash drive on the table and passed copies of the files to the judge. Receipts, hotel bills, messages, photographs, and the report I had sent to Human Resources. Daniel's name appeared again and again. Lindsay's lawyer objected, tried to frame it as personal grievances, not grounds, but the judge barely lifted an eyebrow. Mr. Carter has supplied direct evidence of infidelity, she said, flipping through the papers. This is not ambiguous. Then came the subpoena. Daniel Pierce summoned to testify. He sat stiff in the witness chair, jaw clenched, hands knotted in his lap. Under oath, the truth slipped out. Yes, they had met outside of work. Yes, they had shared nights at hotels. Yes, he knew she was married. Lindsay's face went rigid, the mask cracking. She stared at him like he had betrayed her too, though all he had done was protect himself. The ruling did not take long. Divorce granted, assets divided. The house stayed mine. No alimony. The judge's words were clear. Lindsay's conduct had compromised any claim to more. When it was over, I gathered my papers calmly and stood. She did not move. She just sat there, staring at the floor, her polished image dissolving under the weight of reality. As I passed, she finally looked up. Her voice was a whisper. "You really destroyed me." I stopped, leaned close enough for only her to hear. "No, Lindsay. I just made sure no one could ignore it." She flinched, looked away, and said nothing more. That was the last time I heard her use my name. Months later, the house was quiet in a way I had not heard in years. Just the steady rhythm of a place that was mine again. In my office above the desk, 2 envelopes sat framed side by side. Exit and truth. They were not just relics of that night. They were reminders, choices, costs, consequences. Every decision has a price. Sometimes late at night I would catch myself staring at them and thinking how close I had come to being the fool in her play. She had asked for one night, just one. She expected silence, complicity, maybe rage, followed by begging. What she got instead was daylight. Every secret dragged out, every prop burned, every lie documented. Lindsay lost her job within a month. Human Resources conducted a quiet but thorough review. Daniel transferred states for personal reasons. I did not care. By then, both of them had become irrelevant footnotes. The papers were signed. The silence was real. And for the first time in years, I slept without wondering what new lie would arrive in the morning. One evening, I opened the small box where I had kept the unused anniversary ring. I set it on the desk, turned it in the light, then closed the lid for good. It was not leverage anymore. It was not even grief. It was evidence of what almost was and what never would be. I never heard from Lindsay again. No letters, no apologies, no late-night calls. The silence was cleaner than any word she could have offered. She thought she could script her freedom. Instead, she got exposed. She asked for one night with another man. What she got was the end of every script she had written, and the truth she never saw coming. Daniel Pierce was never her future. He was just the spark she used to burn down her own house. And when the smoke cleared, she was the one standing in the ashes alone. For the first time in years, I was not afraid of the silence. I owned it. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Wishing you all the best. Stay healthy and take care.